You.
3 homeless people were killed by a car that jumped the curb and slammed into them downtown. The new information we're getting about the driver.
The people now eligible for the COVID vaccine expands just as one of San Diego's biggest vaccine centers announces plans to shut down for good.
And the storm brings more snow to our mountains. The important message from the people who live there.
ABC 10 News at 6 starts now.
You know, I was riding on the front of the car, and I'm like looking back like, are you ever going to stop?
A suspected drunk driver plows into a group of homeless people on the sidewalk near City College, killing 3 and injuring 6 others. Good evening. I'm Steve Atkinson.
And I'm Kimberly Hunt. The horrific crash happened just after 9 o'clock this morning in the tunnel next to the school in the 1500 block of B Street. We have team coverage tonight. Let's start with ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer Kastner with the very latest on the investigation. Jennifer?
The driver is a 71-year-old man who's been charged with vehicular manslaughter, among other counts. The crash happened behind me underneath the San Diego City College Bridge. A warning to viewers, some of the video and the details are disturbing. This was the chaotic scene just after Monday's deadly crash under the San Diego City College Bridge in the East Village of downtown.
Not only is this a very emotional call for all of the first responders and police officers there to arrive, but a very chaotic one.
Several victims were being treated, one with a leg injury, clearly in shock. Still at the scene, a Volvo with extensive front-end damage, a smashed windshield, mangled debris on the front end. According to San Diego police, the driver, identified as 71-year-old Craig Boss, reportedly ran the car up onto the sidewalk, striking several people who were there with tents and other belongings. SDPD says he stopped to render aid, but 3 people were pronounced dead on scene. Another 5 were transported to area hospitals, 2 people in critical condition. At this afternoon's press conference, Police Chief David Nislight said Voss is suspected of DUI and is currently in their custody.
He is a resident of the city of San Diego, and he is under arrest for 3 counts of vehicular manslaughter, 5 counts of causing great bodily injury while committing a felony, and 1 count of felony DUI.
Mayor Todd Gloria appeared at the morning press conference there to offer condolences and support the efforts of the dozens of first responders and law enforcement officers. And Chief Nislight said that a full criminal investigation is now underway. Reporting from downtown, Jennifer Kastner, ABC 10 News.
And our ABC 10 News reporter Leah Pizzetti continues our team coverage from UCSD Hospital in Hillcrest with a look at who was hurt and what's being done to help those survivors.
Now, a few of those victims were brought here to UCSD in Hillcrest. The tunnel where this happened is a place where homeless people will sleep and tend to find comfort and cover from rainy days like today. So witnesses say there were a lot of people in that tunnel when the car drove through today. Of the 4 taken to local hospitals, 2 of them were brought here to UC San Diego Health in Hillcrest. Victims were also taken to Scripps Mercy and Sharp Memorial. I spoke to many homeless advocates today who say people sleeping on the sidewalks is obviously a safety concern, and this is the proof. So they're asking local leaders to step up and create more concrete ways to help people living on the streets.
A convention center shelter bed, a shelter bed period, is not what people need. We need housing. We need supportive services, and right now we need help for the folks, the victims, the survivors of this horrific accident.
Mayor Todd Gloria did speak today about resources for the homeless community, encouraging people on the streets to take advantage of the beds the city has to offer. Mayor Gloria went on to say that helping the homeless is a priority for him, and he does want to make sure these 3 people who died today did not die in vain. Leah Pizzetti, ABC 10 News.
You can stay on top of any new developments in this story by downloading the 10 News app. A free version is available in the App Store.
Turning now to the coronavirus, millions more people in the state are eligible for the vaccine tonight, and that includes public transit, airport, jail, and homeless shelter workers. And as ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala explains, people with high-risk medical conditions also qualify.
And if people are getting vaccinations, it's better for everyone.
Lauren Gillihan and her husband have been cooped up in their La Mesa home, unable to visit with family and friends for a year. They're worried about getting COVID-19. She has lupus, compromising her immune system, while her husband has type 2 diabetes.
We got our doctor's letter here.
Monday, they were finally able to book COVID-19 vaccination appointments.
I jumped on first thing in the morning because we're eligible today.
Californians between the ages of 16 and 64 with specific disabilities or high-risk medical conditions are now eligible to get vaccinated. The California Department of Public Health lists conditions including cancer, chronic kidney disease, Down syndrome, type 2 diabetes, and more. But San Diego County's list of qualified medical conditions expands beyond that, including those who have severe or moderate asthma, hypertension, liver disease, are overweight with a BMI of more than 25, type 1 diabetes, and more. The state also says people can qualify to get a vaccine if it's determined that a COVID-19 infection is likely to result in severe life-threatening illness or death. Those who are eligible are asked to first try to go through their healthcare provider. Other options include pharmacies, local health departments, community pop-up clinics, and the state's My Turn website. The state says people won't need to provide documentation of their health condition. Instead, they'll be asked to sign a self-attestation to prove they're eligible. But a San Diego County spokesperson says here, people are asked to only verbally confirm they have a qualifying condition.
I got the letter just in case.
For Lauren, getting the vaccine means getting her life back on track.
I'm going to hug my kids. I already have a mental list of the first things that I'm going to do.
Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
And coming up a little later in this newscast, we'll ask Supervisor Nathan Fletcher how they'll confirm the underlying conditions to keep the system working as planned.
The Vaccination Superstation at Petco Park will close for good after Saturday. A spokesperson for UCSD Health says they hope to get every San Diegan waiting for a second dose at the site with their second shot by then. With the Padres season just a couple of weeks away, the closure of that superstation was inevitable. No word on a replacement location. Also today, the county reported a very encouraging 178 new cases today and a test positivity rate of 2%. Been a long time since we've seen those types of numbers. There are no reported new deaths. That's typical for a Monday. That number stands at 3,400.
San Diego County is expected to move into the red tier tomorrow, and that means by Wednesday, places such as restaurants, gyms, movie theaters, and museums can start bringing people inside with restrictions. CrossFit Unsung in Poway has been operating in its parking lot, and the owner is looking forward to moving inside.
Definite welcome change after the last year kind of being back and forth and having to be really creative with how we programmed our workouts.
Under the red tier, gyms can reopen at 10% capacity inside and restaurants at 25%. A judge has sided with parents in the North County who sued the state to reopen schools. Today, the Superior Court judge issued a temporary restraining order overriding the state's pandemic protocols, which kept children from in-person learning. And this involves schools in the San Dieguito, Carlsbad, Poway, Oceanside, San Marcos, and Vista school districts. We are still looking into how soon the schools could reopen for in-person learning.
All right, now to our weather. As the rain dies down, the snow is picking up in our mountain areas. Look at that pile there. Some areas could see up to 4 inches. Our ABC 10 News reporter Natay Holmes talked to neighbors who have a message for visitors making a trip to the mountains.
Snow falling from the sky, landing on the roof of the Laguna Mountain Lodge. This is the site Monday morning. This is the site Monday afternoon. The area received about 13 inches of snow during last week's storm. Tom, the owner of Laguna Mountain Lodge, says even though we're getting more snow, he's seeing fewer people this time around.
It's usually less as the winter goes along. The novelty seems to wear off, and it's not as crazy as it is the first couple of snows.
Over in Julian, small flurries hit the ground. A small change compared to the wintry weather last weekend.
It was very beautiful. It would come in waves, which was really nice, instead of all just one dump at a time. But it was actually a mellower snow weekend for us than we see traditionally.
Tanya Pittman is the owner of The Cooler, a tap room in Julian. She says she welcomes visitors to their town, but asks that if they pack it in, to also pack it out.
We always hope for the best when it comes to people coming and visiting our beautiful town, that they're going to come in and be respectful, clean up after themselves.
As of early afternoon, chains were not required for drivers making their way up the mountains, but locals urging drivers to be cautious. Nate Holmes, ABC 10 News.
Of course, there was also lots of rain today. Our meteorologist Angelica Campos joins us now with all of those totals. Angelica.
Hi, Steve. We had anywhere from 1/10 of an inch to almost half an inch of rainfall, but the concern now is going to be wind related. The winds are getting very strong. We have advisories and warnings in place. You can see those winds between 30 miles per hour to just over 40 miles per hour in some of our deserts. And again, the winds are going to stay strong overnight. Talking about that rain in the mountains, changing over to snow and a slushy mix on the roads, which will make it very challenging for anyone heading up into the mountain areas tonight. It will be slick and very dangerous with some areas becoming icy overnight as they change over. Our satellite and radar showing you a little bit of moisture left over, but most of the heavy rain is pretty much done for today. We'll see a few spotty showers all the way into the overnight hours, maybe even early tomorrow morning, but it should become drier during the day tomorrow. And then eventually we'll start to see those temperatures warming up. But for tonight, it's going to be so cold. Temperatures could be in the 30s, even in our valleys. We'll talk about the potential for frost and also when we could see another round of wet weather.
Angelica, thank you. And we have some more breaking news, an update on that boat fire happening in Oceanside Harbor. Firefighters are working to knock down that heavy smoke that you see that came from it. We know that at least 2 boats caught on fire, but witnesses say there may be as many as 3. We are told, though, no one was injured. Firefighters are still investigating the cause of the blaze.